We are going to complete the rigging for the character by adding bones for the mouth and for the tongue. First thing we need to do is move these bones to another layer so we have more room to add more bones without confusion. Okay, so first select the armature, then press tab to go to edit mode, press M, and that will get you the change bone layers menu. Select this square and that will move the bones to the other layer. And from this tab you can get back the bones if you choose the layer with the circle in it. Let's go back to an empty layer. First, before we add more bones, let's adjust the topology for the mouth. So go back to object mode, select the body, then press tab to go to edit mode. You'll see that the mouse doesn't have a very good topology, and if we try to rig it in this state, it will result in very bad animation. So let's try to fix that. First thing we need to do is add more vertices around the edge loop of the mouth. So press Ctrl R and with your scroll button, scroll it to have 2 edge loops in this position. And then the same thing for the bottom of the mouse. You will see that this part has moved out of the clothes, so you can press O for proportional editing, then press G, then Y, and move them inside the clothes again. What we need to do next is add an edge loop around the shape of the mouse. If we try to add an edge loop by pressing Ctrl R now, you will see that the edge loop is not going around the mouth, but it's going around the body. So to fix that, we need to adjust the edge flow of this part so the edge loop goes around the mouth instead of around the body. So first thing we need to do is press K to get the knife tool, and that will enable you to cut an edge in any part of the mesh. So press here, then keep pressing until you go around the mouth like that. Now if you try to press Ctrl R and add an edge loop here, you will see that the edge loop starts from here and then stops right here. That's because this polygon is not a quad and it's a tri, and the edge loop only goes through quads. So in order to fix that, we need to merge these 2 vertices so that this polygon is followed directly by this polygon, and then the edge loop will be able to go through around it. Let's try that. Select this vertex, then press shift and hold, and select this vertex. Now press M to get the merge menu, then add center. You'll see now that if I press Ctrl R, you will see that the edge loop is now going in this direction and then going around the mouth like that, but it's stopping right here because this is again another try that we need to solve out. So press 2 for edge select, press Alt and hold, select this edge that we just added, press X and dissolve edges so that we remove it for now. Now press 1 for vertex select, select this vertex, shift and hold, then select this vertex. Press M, then add center. There is another way I want to show you to merge vertices together. So now press Ctrl Z to go back. You can use the snap to option from here, and then instead of increment, choose vertex. You'll now be able to snap to a vertex, select this vertex, press G to move it, and with your mouse cursor, go to the other vertex like that, then press Ctrl, and that will snap the selected vertex to this one. Now press left click to confirm the new position. You'll see now that this vertex is exactly on top of the other one. You can now press A to select everything, then press M for the merge menu, and instead of add center, you can choose by distance, and that will merge all the vertices that are on top of each other. That is just another way to merge vertices, and I just wanted to show you how to snap vertices together because that will help us later in the rigging process. Now let's adjust the position of those vertices by pressing GG and slide them a little. Let's add another edge loop around this position so that we have more vertices in this area, and then select these vertices, press O for proportion editing, and move them out a little like that. Maybe select those and move them like that. Alright, next let's make the mouth closed so that it's better for the rigging, because the rigging while the mouse is open like that will not be very good, I think. So to do that, press 3 for face select, then press Alt and hold, then select this edge or any edge in this loop, and that will select the whole loop of the mouth. Press O to disable proportion editing. Now press S, then Z, and scale it down until it's closed like that. Okay, press 1 for vertex select, select this vertex, press GG and move it a little like that. Okay, now add an edge loop around the mouth and push it inwards a little like that. Let's go to the modifiers tab and disable the subdivision for now. Alright, select this face and then press O for proportion editing. Let's try and make it smaller like that by pressing G then X. Also select this vertex and push it inside the goggles a little like that, because I think they were going out a little. Let's enable back the subdivision modifier and let's add some bones. Press shift and right click to put the 3D cursor in this position. Then from here select the armature and then go to this tab and go to the layer where the armature is. Select the armature, then press tab to go to edit mode. Go back to the empty layer, then press shift A to add a bone at the location of the 3D cursor. Rotate the bone and scale it down and put it like that. Select this vertex, maybe adjust it a little, then press E again and put it at the corner of the mouse. Then select these two bones, press shift D to duplicate them, then press Z and push them down. Select this vertex, then press G and snap it to this vertex so they are on top of each other. Now select this bone and rename it to mouse.r maybe. Select the name, then press Ctrl C to copy it and paste it to the other bones. Okay, rotate around like that. Highlight these two vertices and push them on the y-axis like that. These two and push them back. These two as well. Also maybe uncheck in front from this tab so you can see the position of the bones better. Try to make them in the middle of the lips like that inside the mesh. You can also go to wireframe to make sure that they are in the correct position. Then select these four bones, right click, then symmetrize to symmetrize them to the other side. Now let's adjust the middle vertices. From here you can mirror all your actions or your movements from this side to the other side. So toggle on the X mirror, then press G. You'll see that both of the bones are moving. Then press X and move them until they are in the middle like that, and for the bottom of the mouse as well. Okay, then select this vertex, and one of those vertices. Make sure that the X mirror is enabled. Then press E, then Y to extrude out these bones. You will see that they are extruded on the other sides as well. Then untoggle the X mirror, select this vertex, then press E and Y. The reason why we untoggle the X mirror so that we don't have duplicate bones in the middle here. These bones will be the controller bones that will control these bones, and these bones will be the deformation bones that will actually deform the mesh of the mouth. So select the controller bones like that by holding shift. You'll see that these bones are selected by mistake. It's okay. Go to this tab, then press Alt and hold, then press this X to remove all the parents from these bones. Then reselect all the controller bones like that. Make sure that only the controller bones are selected. Then press Alt and hold and uncheck deform so that the controller bones do not contribute to the deformation of the mesh, and only these bones that have this check mark will deform them. Now let's adjust some of the parenting of these bones and add some constraints to them. First select this bone, press shift and hold, then select this bone. Press Ctrl P, make parent, keep offset. Then select this bone, shift select this bone, Ctrl P, keep offset. Do the same for the bottom side of the mouse. And then for the other side as well, this and this, Ctrl P. Alright, what I'm trying to do is that when I go to pose mode, I want to control these two bones with this controller. So right now when I try to move this bone, it will only move this bone. So let's add a constraint to this bone in order for this bone to control it. So to do that, select this bone, then shift, select this bone, then press Ctrl Shift C and add a stretch to constraint. Okay, you will see that if you go to the constraints tab, it has added a stretch to constraint, and then it's targeting this controller. Let's try to move it. You'll see that now this bone is stretching to the controller. Let's do the same thing for this bone, but stretch it to this controller instead. Okay, so select this bone, press shift and hold, and select this bone. Ctrl Shift C, stretch to. The same thing for the bottom side. Then the same thing for the other side. This should stretch to this controller. Now if I try to select this controller, for example, you'll see that these two bones are moving with it. Now let's try to attach the body to the armature now and see the influence of these bones on the mouse. Okay, so go to object mode, select the body, then select the armature, press Ctrl P, set parent to with automatic weights. Alright, press Ctrl P to go to pose mode, select this bone for example, and try to move it. You'll see now that it's affecting the mesh, but it's affecting too much of it. You'll see that this part have too much influence, so in order to fix that, we will add more bones to the face. So press tab to go to edit mode, press shift and right click to put the 3D cursor in this position, then press shift A and that will add the bone, rotate it, scale it down and put it like that, extrude it one more time like that, and then one more time. Select this vertex, then press E and put it around here. Press E one time and put one around here, then press E one final time and put it in the middle of the mouse like that. Rotate around like that, then push them until they are on the surface of the body to make things more visible, or you can be able to control the position of the bones accurately. Make sure to uncheck in front and try to put them at the surface of the mesh like that until they are barely visible. Alright, go back to object mode, select the armature, then press shift edge to isolate it. Right now we will create more bones, connect them to the controller bones. So select this vertex, then press E and then hover over this vertex, then press Ctrl to snap it to this position. Select this vertex, press E, then hover over here, Ctrl, snap it here, and the same one for this one. Make sure to snap it at the base of the controller bone and not at the tip. Go back to object mode, press Alt H to bring everything back. Let's rename these bones to be able to symmetrize them to the other side. First check in front again so we can see them better. Select this bone, maybe call it face.r, copy the name and paste them for the other bones. Okay, select all these bones, then right click, symmetrize. Okay, select this bone, make sure to press the X mirror, press X and move them until it's in the middle like that. Select this bone, select this vertex and do the same thing until it's in the middle as much as you can. Alright, now go back to pose mode. What we need to do is stretch these bones to the controller they are going to. So select this bone, press shift and hold, then select this bone, Ctrl C, stretch to, and the same for the others. Okay, right now if I try to move it, you'll see these bones still doesn't have effect. That's because we still need to parent them again. So these new bones will have their weights. So press Ctrl Tab to go to object mode, select the body, select the armature, Ctrl P with automatic weights, and let's try again. You will see that it's looking much better and you will be able to control the mouse like that and create different shapes for it. Okay, select everything, press Alt R, Alt G to return everything to normal. Press Tab to go to edit mode, select all these bones and move them by pressing M to the other layer to make room for more bones. We need to add more bones for the jaw and for the upper teeth and the lower teeth, and eventually we'll add bones for the tongue. So go to the right side, press shift and right click and put the 3D cursor around this position. Press shift A to add the new bone. Rotate this bone and scale it down and put it around here, just below the lower teeth like that, and then move it from the front side to the middle of the face like that. Alright, go back to the right side, go to edit mode, maybe move the jawbone down a little like that. Press shift D to duplicate it and rotate it, then scale it down and put one for the lower teeth, shift D for the upper teeth as well. Now what we need to do is parent these 3 bones to the jawbone. Make sure that the X mirror is toggled off so you don't parent anything else by mistake. Select these 3 bones, then the last thing, the jawbone, then press Ctrl P, keep offset. Right now if I try to move the jawbone and rotate it on the X axis like that, you'll see that the mouse is opening like that. The next thing we need to do is parent the lower teeth to the lower teeth bone and the upper teeth to the upper teeth bone. Make sure to select the armature first and go to pose mode and make sure that from edit, lock object mode is not enabled. Select the lower teeth, press shift and hold, then select the lower bone for the teeth, press Ctrl P, then set parent to bone, Alright, select the upper teeth, then select the upper bone for the teeth, Ctrl P, set parent to bone, okay, go to edit mode, select the lower teeth bone, then select the jaw bone, then press Ctrl P, keep offset. Right now when I try to rotate the jaw bone, you will see that the teeth are now moving with it. Okay, that's perfect. What's left is the tongue. We need now to rig the tongue, so select the tongue, press Shift H to isolate it, press Tab to go to edit mode. Let's add some edge loops for this tongue. Press Ctrl R and add one in the middle, like that, maybe one here, and another one around here. Alright. Maybe also select this edge loop and scale it on the x-axis. Select these two and push them forward on the y-axis like that. Okay, go to the side view and then the armature. Press this eye to make the armature visible. If you don't see this eye, you probably don't have it enabled from the filter here. So select the filter and the restriction toggles. Make sure that you have these 5 toggled on. Alright, then make it visible so we can see the armature in the viewport. Select the armature, then press Tab to go to edit mode. Maybe select all these bones and move them temporarily to the second layer. We will get everything back when we're done, but for now let's work on an empty layer so we can see everything better. Okay, right now we are in edit mode for the armature. So press Shift A to add a bone, rotate this bone and scale it down. Match it up with the tongue like that, rotate around the tongue and push it on the x-axis and put it in the middle, like that. Okay, select this vertex, then press E to extrude it, then press E again for the tip of the tongue, like that. Select these vertices, then press E, then Z and extrude out these bones. Select these bones, go to this tab, press Alt and hold and remove their parents. As we did with the mouse, these will be the deformation bones and these will be the controller bones. Select this vertex and extrude another one right here. Now let's adjust the parents for these bones. Select this bone and parent it to this one. Select this one and parent it to this controller, and the same thing with this one. Okay, go to pose mode and let's add some constraints. We need this bone to be stretched to this controller. So select this controller, press Shift, then select this bone, press Ctrl Shift C, add a stretch to constraint. Right now if I selected this bone and try to move it, you will see that this bone is stretching to it, and this is moving these two bones, and this is moving these two bones. Okay, but what I need for the tongue is that when I move this bone, I want these two bones to be moving with it. So to do that, let's add a constraint here to copy the location of this bone. So select this bone, press Shift, then select this bone, press Ctrl Shift C and add copy location constraint. Go to this tab, then make the space, local space. Okay, now if I try to move this bone, you will see that the other bone is moving exactly with it, but I want it to be moving with it, but not exactly the same. So let's change the influence from 1 to about 0.5. So now if I try to move this bone, you will see that this bone is moving with it, but not exactly 100%, but at 50%. So only half of the distance is applied to this bone. Okay, the same thing with this bone. I wanted to copy the location of this bone. So select this one, select this bone, Ctrl Shift C, copy location, local space, and then for this one, make it only 25%. So select this bone. Now you'll see that these two bones are moving with it, and I can control these two bones from this controller. Okay. What's left to do is parent the tongue to the bones of the tongue that we've just created. To do that, we need to do a new process, because if we just try to select the tongue and then select the armature and press Ctrl P and select it with automatic weights, all the bones in the armature will have influence on the tongue. And I only want these 3 bones to actually influence the tongue. So to do that, select the tongue, select the armature, then press Ctrl P, and instead of using with automatic weights, just select armature deform. Right now, the tongue is parented to the armature, but there is no bones in the vertex group. There is actually no bones that have influence on the tongue. Okay, so right now let's select the armature, go to pose mode, select the tongue, then go to weight paint. When you go to weight paint and the armature was in pose mode, you will see now that you can select the bones while you are in weight paint. So select this bone, press Shift and select these 2 bones as well, and then from this weights menu you can assign automatic from bones. That will assign automatic weights for only the selected bones in the viewport. So I try to do that. You'll see that this bone now have influence on the tongue, and this one as well, but no other bones in the armature have any influence on the tongue. And that's exactly what we want, because we don't want the mouse bones, for example, to be influencing the tongue. Okay, let's go back to object mode, select this controller and try to move the tongue like that. I think it's working good enough. Maybe go to the modifier tab and increase the subdivision of the tongue. Okay, press Alt H to bring everything back and let's test it. Let's bring these bones back. To be able to see all the layers, you can press this layer, press Shift, then select the other layer so you can see all the bones in the armature. You can see now why I wanted to move the bones to other layers, because the bones are just too crowded right now. Select the armature, go to edit mode. What I want to do is I want to parent the last controller here of the tongue to the jawbone. So when I move the jawbone, the tongue is moving with the jawbone as well. So select this controller, select the jawbone, press Ctrl P, keep offset. Alright, maybe select the jawbone, move it to the first layer. Let's go to the first layer. Alright, go to pose mode. Now try to... Alright, let's also attach the other controllers of the tongue to the jawbone as well. Okay, so it's now moving with it. Okay, now select the jawbone, maybe move it in the edit mode down a little so it's away from the tongue, like that. Alright, press Shift, then select the second layer to see all the bones. Let's try and move the head bone and see the influence of the new bones that we have made. You'll see that now the body is not moving as before, because these bones, the face bones, are now taking the influence of the strap here. So what we need to do to fix that, go to edit mode, select this bone and then parent it to this bone. Press Ctrl P, keep offset, and this bone parent it to this bone. Let's see now if it's working. Let's also parent the jawbone to the head bone and the upper controllers for the mouth here. It might be hard to select. Okay, and parent them to the head bone as well. Maybe the upper teeth and parent it to the head bone as well. Let's check if everything is moving as before. Okay, I think everything is working perfectly. Now let's just fix this mess and make it simpler so we can animate it in the next part. So what we need to do is actually move the unnecessary bones, the bones that will not control the character, to the second layer, and only the bones that will control the character we'll put it in the first layer here. Okay, so in the first layer already we have the jawbone and the tongue bones. These bones will not be necessary, so move them to the second layer. Then select this second layer which has all the bones right now, and only select the controller bones. So in order to see the controller bones better, we need to go back to B bone. Right now all the bones that we have created for the face and for the eyes here, we can make them smaller by pressing Ctrl Alt S and make them smaller like that. Okay, so let's select these bones and move them to the first layer. Select the controller bones of the mouth here and move them to the first layer as well. The heel control and the IK control for the leg, and move them as well. The IK for the arm and the elbow. Also the head bone and the base bone. Okay, I think we got all the controller bones to the first layer. Select these bones and make them smaller. Alright. Okay, I noticed that the strap here is moving inside the head, so let's just push it out like that. Okay. Now what's left to do is actually make custom shapes for the controller bones, because right now if we disable in front, you'll see that all the bones are inside the mesh. So the custom shapes will make it easier to move the controller bones. There is actually an add-on that we can download which will make the making of the custom shapes much easier. I will be leaving the link in the description below. Make sure to download that. It's called Orient Bone Shapes. So make sure to download that from this page. I will be linking it in the description, and downloading the add-on from here. Then in Blender, from Edit, Preference, and then from the Add-ons tab, Install, go to where you save the zip file and install add-on. You should Then find Orient Custom Shape add-on, add it to the list of add-ons here, check that, and then save preference. First, let's create the custom shape that we need. Let's go to object mode, press shift and right click to put the 3D cursor here, then press shift A and add a circle. For example, move the circle around here like that, maybe scale it. Then select the armature, go to pose mode, select this bone, and then from the bone tab, you can go to the viewport display. You will see custom object. In the custom object, select the eyedropper, then select the circle. You will see that the bone has changed its shape to the circle shape, but it's not oriented correctly. That's where the add-on comes in. You can now press right click. You will see that the add-on has added an align bone shape here. You can press that and instantly it will align its position to the circle that we had. We will do that for all the other bones. You can create whatever custom shape that you want. That will make it easier to understand. You can select a circle like that, maybe enable proportional editing and push it like that so it takes the shape of the heel like that. And also I like to make custom shapes as text, so press shift A and add a text, press tab and write maybe E for elbow. You can change the text to mesh by selecting object, then convert to mesh. Right now it's converted to a mesh. You can first press X, then limited dissolve, and that will remove all the edges inside, then only faces, and that will leave you with the outer line, and that can be the custom shape for the elbow controller. Okay, I have added all the custom shapes that I want. Right now all what's left is selecting the bone. Then from this tab in the viewport display, select the custom shape for it. Select the eyedropper, then select the custom shape, right click, align bone shape, and that will take the position of the custom shape that we have created, and I will keep doing that for all the other bones. Okay, I think that's enough for the custom shapes. Just after you finish the custom shapes, you can hide the armature, maybe also hide everything. Select all the custom shapes and move them to a new collection, and then uncheck this collection so it's not visible in the viewport. The last thing I want to add before we finish up this tutorial, in edit mode, select this bone, and then in the relation, in this tab, uncheck inherit rotation. What will that do is that when I rotate the base bone like that, you will see that the head bone is not rotating with it, and that might get you more control over your character. Maybe it will make better animation. That's it for this part. In the next part, we will finally get to animate the minion. If you want to follow up the rest of the series, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified as soon as a new video gets uploaded. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.